Just a reminder before today's programme that if you missed the previous episode, it can still be viewed here on the channel, and in the last episode we took a look at the rather short Goal TV. And now, here on AMTV, the latest episode of the Ident Review Extra, and this time, buckle up, we're going to space. Hello, and welcome to the Ident Review Extra, the spin-off show that takes a look at one individual ident each episode and gives it the review it deserves. And today we continue our marathon through the BBC2 idents of the 1990s. Today on our BBC2 journey, we're going to outer space to look at a very otherworldly ident indeed. Towards the middle of 1994, the 25th anniversary of man's first landing on the moon was fast approaching. BBC2 responded to this by commissioning a series of varied programmes about the event and about space in general. And as the BBC often does with its themed programming, it commissioned a brand new ident for BBC2 to represent this programming before it hit the airwaves. So without further ado, let's take a look at Moon.
As the spectacular impacts of the Shoemaker-Levy comet continue, BBC Two presents a series of short animations over the next 5 nights, each telling part of the story behind the collision with Jupiter. Tonight's explores how the comet was formed.
A very fitting homage to one of the world's most miraculous events. Right from the word go, you can instantly tell we are off-world, the grey barren landscape of the moon being so iconic in the minds of many viewers. We see the ever-familiar shape of the two come into view via shadow, but very quickly we make out that the two is actually the lunar lander itself, presumably detached from the main BBC rocket. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seeing it land, the two surprisingly works really well as a lunar lander, and as one of those final images that would look great to frame and hang off your wall. You also have some random numbers, presumably representing the calculations astronauts would have had to make in order to land properly, and whilst they add to the whole atmosphere of the sequence, I would argue that they aren't exactly necessary, and can be a little distracting. Now, this ident, from what I can gather, was indeed only broadcast during this season of special space programming that BBC2 aired in the middle of 1994, which I actually think is a great shame, because even though I understand this is meant to be unique to this particular season, they could have easily brought this out in the future for space-based programmes, because they still remain popular when they're broadcast even to this day. But as it stands, if you weren't there watching BBC2 in 1994, then you wouldn't have had a chance to see this air live. In fact, Moon was believed to have been a lost ident, as for years the footage of it didn't exist on the internet, although images had survived. But a few years ago, we have Benriggers to thank as he uploaded footage of Moon online and helped preserve this rather unique sequence. In my opinion, Moon is certainly a memorable special ident for BBC2. It's one that when people see it, they remember it. Its distinctive iconography, its striking final image, and the great atmosphere that helps convey the mystery and intrigue that the Moon, and indeed the vastness of space, convey so strongly. And so we've come to the end, but before we go, the final words from our broadcaster. That was the Ident Review Extra. We hope you enjoyed, and that you tune in next time. Keep an eye on the community tab and the Sunday catch-up for further news about this programme, as well as others here on AMTV. But until then, have a good week, and we hope that you'll join us again soon. Good night.